Hello everybody, this is Bob Anderson and today is July 9th and I want to do just a video where I talk about current market situations, my current status in trading, and then I also want to discuss prop firms, Apex, blah blah blah. Quickly, this is July and my trading is on a very low key level right now, being July 9th. It's the week after the 4th of July. All last week I was out of town. It was my birthday. My gift to myself every year for about 12 years now is to take me and my dogs to the beach, and we sit on the beach for a week. My birthday is the 4th of July. Ironically. And anyway, so what I wanted to talk about is, I'm back, but I'm trading very lightly. I don't want to have bad market conditions blow up accounts for me. And today happens to also be a day where, Powell is talking to the Senate at 10 o'clock. And to be perfectly honest with you, if you're trading the market while Powell's talking to the Senate, you might want to claim insanity, because you never know, he may spew, another lie like inflation is transitory, and then gold collapses, $50, or he might spew that they're not going to raise rates again, and the market takes off. So, anyways, So what I wanted to talk about is my current status, because one of the things I do, I've talked about this in previous videos, twice a year throughout my business career. Now, I own a modular home business, and I build houses in predominantly two states, North Carolina, South Carolina. I have built some in Virginia, but anyways, twice a year is when my mind is clear. It's the 4th of July and Christmas time, between Christmas and New Year's. And those two times a year, I sit down, I evaluate my business, I evaluate what I'm doing right, what I'm doing wrong. I don't have time really in my mind to do it when my business is running and flowing. So anyways, I kind of decided I was going to do that with this. With my trading also, and I wanted to just talk about it. So my current status situation with my PA accounts is I have 10. So let me tell you how I got 10. I had 5 PAs. Y'all might remember I had a big issue where somehow I had some evaluation accounts that I don't remember the exact scenario, but I think I blew them up. 5 evaluation accounts. I think I blew them up, and they didn't delete them out of my system. Oh, no. I passed 5 PAs. I passed 5 evaluations, but they didn't delete them out of my system. So when I traded them, then they renewed. And I wasn't paying attention, because I wasn't paying attention to eval accounts, and they renewed, and I passed them again, and they wouldn't give me the accounts because they said, well, you already converted these to PAs, and I'm like, y'all charged me for the accounts. Y'all may remember that. I got kind of sideways with Apex, and the customer service department wouldn't fix my issue and basically kept blaming me for it. I don't know how they can blame me. It's not my system, it's theirs. Anyways, that all got fixed. So I got my 5 PAs back, and then recently they had a 90% off sale, one day to pass. I decided, shoot, 90% off. I'll just buy some accounts and try to pass. And I blew up probably, I don't know, 15 accounts or so doing it, because I was doing it in 5 account increments, because I was just trying to do it in a day. And then finally I did it, and I hit it, and I passed, and I got 5 more. So what I did is I bought those 5 last month on lifetimes, and I just set them aside until after the 4th of July. So now I have 10 and I'm kind of working them together. So that's my status of my accounts. I have no evaluations whatsoever. And I have 10 PAs with Apex. 5 of them are sitting at about $2,000 up right now. And the other 5, I did trade them today. No, I traded them yesterday. And they're up like $160 or something a piece. I traded very lightly yesterday, and today I traded even lighter, knowing that Powell was going to be talking at 10 o'clock. Very conservative. I'm trading one contract. Just, if it goes my way, when you got 10 accounts, you trade one contract. Yesterday, I think I made like $140. Well, you got to remember, if you got 10 accounts, that's really $1,400. Anyway, so I'm trying to trade real slowly, trying to get them all 10 to a certain level. I have a plan for them when they're all together at the same level, of how I'm going to trade them. I'm going to continue to trade them with one contract, but I'm going to trade them for more swing trades when the market comes back to life. Not dick and dunks. And I'll do a video about that when I get there, if I get there. And the other thing I want to just kind of talk about is, when I started this trading channel, I was doing it because I was not being disciplined in my trading. My strategy, I believe, is the easiest strategy that I've ever seen to actually use, to actually understand. But I don't believe it will work for anybody that's not disciplined, as should be any strategy, really. And so, when I got back into trading, it was purely because I watched a YouTube video and I saw this thing called Apex. I wasn't even trading anymore. I used to trade, 10 plus years ago. And then I stopped when I started my modular business. We got out of the housing crisis and I started my modular business. I didn't have time to trade. Anyways, so here I am, and I never intended my trading to replace my income. Instead, what I had done is I had started trading to just confirm that I can supplement my income when I do retire. And, it being, another year has gone by, my 4th of July being another birthday, I'm working towards that day when I no longer build modular homes, I guess. I don't know. I don't know if I'm ever going to give up my modular home business. I do like doing it. I do like helping people in my modular business. I've got 4 houses to build right now. This guy right here, I'm saving him 30 grand. These people right here, I'm saving them 50 grand. These people right here, I'm saving them probably about 30 grand. This guy right here, I'm saving him $60,000 on his build compared to my competitors. There's a long story as to how I can do that, and I don't want to get into it, but I feel good when I do these things. 60% of my customers are referrals. I don't even advertise. I haven't spent $1 advertising my modular home business since December 2018, and for 2 years running, I was the #1 dealer for a manufacturer here in the state of North Carolina. Think about that. And I do it without any sales centers. Yeah. Anyways, so, but I never did trading to replace my income. I just did it to supplement it. And even when I talk about my strategy and I tell people, here's where entry is, here's where the exits are. I'm only looking, to make $200-300 a day on an account, if that, when the market's working. I'm not trying to make, $50,000 a day or some crazy stuff like that. I think that leads to my next part, which is pros and cons of prop firms. I think you got to understand, and this is my grasp on this, I never used a prop firm in the past. I always traded with my own money. course, I use a prop firm now. But, so I'm going to go off of my belief of things, okay? And that is that, prop firms talk about, I'm going to struggle with this one. Prop firms talk about, oh, come and join and pay us this money and prove to us that you can trade and we'll pay you and we'll give you a live account and all this happy, stuff. When what everybody needs to grasp is that none of these prop firms are offering this without the forethought that more people are going to pay, more dollars are going to be paid than they pay out. I mean, that's just business 101. So, do they have the ability to capture some traders that are extremely successful and duplicate their accounts and things like that? Yeah, they do. I mean, they have the ability to do that. But is that really the business model? So you need to understand, regardless if it's Apex, Lilu, whatever, in my opinion, you need to understand when they discuss something about, this or that or whatever, it's 90% of what you're hearing is a sales pitch. And so I bring that up because, I'm fortunate. Okay, I have an S corp that funnels, millions of dollars of houses a year. I make pretty good money in my business, and I have the ability to absorb some of these ridiculous fees or losses or whatnot in my accounts that other people may not have the ability to do. So I have a huge advantage because I actually trade under my S corp. I do not trade under me personally. And so, any dollars that I give Apex for PA accounts or whatever, they go to Apex as, pre-tax dollars. And same thing when they pay me. Now, when they pay me, they come to me as, 1099, but it's 1099 to my S corp. So I have, write-offs against it and things like that. So it's just I bring this up because I have an advantage over some people. And I want you to understand that they're not there for your benefit per se. So you got to be aware of that, and you got to be disciplined also in managing what accounts you buy, what accounts you trade, how you trade them. Do you go cowboy and blow them up and things like that? If I go cowboy and blow up my 10 PAs, for example, right now, is that a lot of money? Absolutely, because I have lifetimes. I pay for lifetime accounts. I don't want to have to stress out thinking about getting charged another $85 in 30 days. So I got to trade. I don't want that. So because I don't know if all of a sudden I'm going to get real busy, like these 4 houses I've got to order right now that have all popped up in my business in the last 2 weeks. So I'm 2-3 weeks, and I had a vacation in the middle of there. So I got to be very disciplined. I don't want to have to trade. So I have lifetimes, and therefore it takes a lot of stress off me. But if I blow them up, is that big? Is that big of a deal? In the grand scheme of things with my S corp, absolutely not. I mean, I have thousands of dollars every day that goes out of my S corp for stuff that gets screwed up in the field when I'm delivering a house, or when I'm setting a house, or when I'm trimming a house, or when I'm finishing a house. I mean, trading is minor compared to my actual business. But anyways, so one of the other things I want to talk about is, I want to point that out. You really need to be aware that these prop firms are not your friends. And so be disciplined, because utilize what you can visualize out of them to make it your benefit, not theirs. Because there is an ability to do that. My trading style, for example, that I utilize has never given Apex a reason to deny me a payout. And so I've been paid rather timely on my stuff. Now, what does that mean? I'm going to give a quick scenario. Back in 2009, 10, somewhere around there, I owned a mortgage company. I had 9 employees, full-time employees, and I was doing millions of dollars in loans for people building modular and manufactured homes. I mean, millions of dollars. I was out of 300 offices that for the network that I worked in, I was the #1 office in the country in terms of business production. And in that business, there was a niche that I had discovered on how to do loans for first-time home buyers that were not really the most qualified loans. Like, the customers qualified, but the way they got into the house and things like that, the financing part of it was a little bit loosey-goosey, but it was written right in the FHA guideline rules that you could do this. Long story short, I ended up being audited by the Department of HUD for 6 months after millions of dollars of these loans went through, and there was some losses that the government was experiencing. And I remember having my exit interview with the Department of HUD, and I said to the people, I said, all I did was follow the rules you wrote. And they said, you did. I mean, there was nothing wrong with my loans after 6 months of being audited. There was nothing wrong with my loans. It was that I utilized a loophole in their rules that caused my loans to not perform the same as everybody else's. So what does that mean? I think Apex went through the same thing. It's my opinion. They went out there and they created these 80% offs and 90% offs, and they did a lot of things in the market. And I didn't get caught up in that hype because I have a specific trading style. But when I watched the video about how they called people scammers and whatnot, I actually watched the video and I understood the problem on the side of Apex, but I recognized that the traders that did these things were just utilizing the loopholes in the system. So I don't blame the traders, and the last thing that anybody should have done is call them scammers, in my opinion. Because it's the same situation I went through when I was the #1 mortgage store out of 300 in the country. It was because there's a loophole. I took advantage of it, and I made a lot of money off of it. And when the government figured it out, they weren't too happy. And by the way, that loophole no longer exists anymore. It no longer exists anymore. Well, that's kind of Apex. Apex sat there, and all of a sudden they had people getting payouts and stuff like that. And then they, I guess they realized that, holy crap, these people are going through 30 PA accounts to get a count to pass, or whatever the systems, whatever the things they were doing, but they were just being very aggressive. And so I'm not blaming Apex for changing the rules. I do blame them for not recognizing such things like this would happen. I'm not a prop firm expert. They supposedly are. But anyways, I don't blame the traders who took advantage of these things, because from what I saw, obviously there's going to be no long-term benefit to the way they were trading. Okay, And I try to trade, let's put it this way, I try to trade these prop firm monies as if it's mine. Because ultimately, when I do retire, it will be mine. I'm not going to be using a prop firm most likely. But anyways, so, you know, I recognize that this is probably, this caused a big stain for Apex. And so I go back and I evaluate myself using Apex. And again, I've had no problems with Apex other than the time they tried not to give me my PA accounts. And that issue was rectified, but boy, it took a lot of battle. It took a lot of fight. And I'm not an expert in prop firms because Apex is the only one I've ever used. I am an affiliate with Apex, but only did I become an affiliate after I went through the funding process, got paid, went through the evaluation process, went through the funding process, got paid timely, everything worked, everything was good, and therefore I signed up to be an affiliate. I don't have affiliates stuff all over my YouTube channels because I haven't done that with any other prop firms. And I don't intend to be an affiliate with any other prop firms unless I actually go through the process of utilizing their service, passing their evaluations, and getting paid. I just have a different way of looking at things than maybe some of these YouTubers that are out there. I never intended to be a YouTuber. It's all by default. Anyways, currently I have a trade copier that I use that's from Apex. They forced me to change to their newest one. I've been using it for a while. I haven't had any problems until right before the 4th of July. I had a trade get exited. Didn't even know. I walked away. It exited the trade. I walked away, and then I come back and I was looking at my charts and I was looking for a potential other trade. And all of a sudden, I noticed by looking at my my accounts, I was upside down on one account by $800. Freaked out, didn't know what happened. I thought, how did I leave a random trade on an account that's not even on my Ninja? So I worked my way out of that and got my money back on that one account. Well, I've come back from vacation and I've had the same problem on Monday and the same problem on Tuesday. I do not have, it's just randomly, what's happening is, say I take a long and I go in at, let's say gold. So I go in at, say, 2361 long. And my targets say 2363. When it runs up, hits my target, what's happening, not every time, and I have 10 accounts, let's say, one of my accounts that's not, all my accounts are tied together, but one of my accounts that's not my primary account is randomly not just entering one contract to exit, to sell, but it's entering two. So now all of a sudden I'm randomly in a trade on an account that's not even on my Ninja. So I have sent them a customer service thing to try to figure out what's going on. I don't know if anybody else is having this problem, but this is something that it happened to me before the 4th of July, but I didn't know what it was. I just thought somehow there was a order left on a screen that I just didn't know about. But now I know what the issue is because it's happened to me multiple times this week. Anyways, I am going to stay very conservative in my trading. Matter of fact, yesterday's trade win was an overnight open rejection. I believe it was in the NQ. Today, I tried to take the same. Matter of fact, it worked beautifully today. There was an overnight open rejection in the NQ at 10:33. I'm going to be very conservative and look for those type trades until the market volume starts coming back and things get a little more active. If you look at the ranges in the market right now, if you look at the range in NQ yesterday until like 11 or whatever, it just, there was no range. Without range, there's not volume, there's not manipulation of running this way, then pulling back this way, and then running that way. And my strategy requires those type of manipulations. Anyways, that's my update. That's my discussion of the current status of my accounts. I am going to go back to trying to put some more videos out here showing my trades that I take, but I need to get my trade copier fixed before I do any more trading. Anyways, I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good day. Bye.